Can we talk about regret and remorse?
Yeah.
What light can you share on that?
It may happen that sometimes you may have acted impetuously and impulsively and impetuously and hurting somebody in the process and dishing out a great deal of anger and insulting and humiliating the other person like that. And afterwards, when you gather yourself, you go for a walk on the beach, and then you gather yourself, and you're able to look at yourself objectively for a few moments, and then it occurs to you that you're being harsh, and whereas actually as a person you're not harsh. But on that occasion you became harsh. You sounded like a brute. But in your innate nature you're not that. And you know that. And because in your innate nature you're quite a reasonable person, but you lost your cool that day, and then you flew into a rage, and you hurt somebody, and you said all sorts of things which are not entirely true, because you made more allegations than reality, and then you got that single thought that I crossed my limits. Just one thought crossed your limits. Now it's not enough to meet with that one thought that you just crossed the limit. The thought is a communicator. The thought is like an angel which is telling you, an angel of truth, which is telling you that you crossed your limit, you hurt somebody. Now, can you draw that angel of thought closer to yourself and enter into a deeper conversation with that angel? And can you just embrace that thought and be with that thought without moving away from it? And obviously that's an act of meditation. It's a very contemplative act, and it can only be done in solitude, during a walk in solitude, or when you are by yourself, maybe just sitting in your home and listening to music, and not when you are with people, no. And then as we were saying in another podcast, both of us were talking, and I said, you got an enormous gift, which is very strange because it is invisible. You don't even know that you have that. And what is that? And that is an infinitely thin, infinite blanket of awareness, infinitely thin, so thin that you cannot even discover that it is there. And the whole thing emanates and radiates from that capital I, which is your conscious presence. That's the root nature we have, all of us. There's only one root nature. All of us are the same thing. And then that awareness is there. And let that awareness embrace that one angel of thought which said that you crossed your limits and you did injustice. And just be with that. Then what will happen is a peculiar healing will take place which is not driven by the self. It's not driven by the self. It happens automatically. And the regret disappears because you digested it, you assimilated it, you owned up to it, and you got the innocence restored. Innocence is the basic nature. It's the pristine I, when it is pure, that's innocence. And life is a very peculiar thing. We have to be on the platform of innocence and also act. But when we act, we may lose that innocence sometimes. And then you have to recover the lost innocence.
Does this process require action?
It requires intelligence. It requires silence. It requires observation. It requires relative freedom from the self, which is the most troublesome thing. which is in the form of revenge, and which is in the form of an accusing finger, and which is in the form of past judgments and all of that. And one has to be very kind to oneself. That's so important. Because if you cannot be very compassionate and kind to yourself, then I believe you cannot be kind and compassionate to anybody else.
Absolutely. I would like to ask you in the next capsule, does it require action or restitution?
Action?
Yes. Does it require an apology? But maybe we should get that into the next capsule.
We'll do it.
Thank you.